I don't know. We can chit chat just a little bit. I had like 2 stories I wanted to tell, and I don't
Fucking
really
football. That's just what we were talking.
that was so
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
I know. I guess most people that listen to the podcast probably already know the story. And Zach, you may have seen my post, but I did want to talk a little bit about that drunk dude at the gym that was cussing me out.
I still don't know who it is.
You didn't see that?
No.
So I was doing overhead press. It was me and one other dude. It was late night, like 9 o'clock, something like that. I was in a squat rack doing overhead press, and this other dude was on bench press. And he's just like, I don't know. I didn't even like pay too much attention to him at first. I was doing my own thing. And then I set up a camera to record my top sets. And I hit like 205 for something, then I hit 225 for 5. Well, on the playback of that video, when I was watching it, it was like the second or third time. Hey, I just hear him yelling, "Fuck you." And I was like, what? Was he yelling at me? And as I was watching it was like the timing was like every time I hit a rep, he was like, "Fuck you." And I was like, what is this guy's deal? And after I had actually looked at him after I heard it, and I was like, what the fuck is it? What is going on? I looked over there and he had an empty barbell on the safety racks on the bench, and he was up and he was like moving around. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? Right. So a little while later, he leaves after a couple of guys come in, and I asked him, I was like, did you know that guy by chance? And they were like, nah, but he's reeked of alcohol. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like everything's starting to stack up.
Yeah.
And then I watched the playback, or I listened to the playback closer, and apparently at one point he said, "Fuck you, I don't need a spot." And I was like, did he ask me for a spot? I don't even remember him asking me for a spot. Like,
he had his headphones in.
Yeah, I always have my headphones in blaring, like I can hear nothing.
I mean, common courtesy would be if you need a spot, just tap somebody on the shoulder and be like, "Hey, like, you mind doing this?" You know.
But nah, this dude. What's really funny though, right? But what's really funny about it to me is that like he was like, "Fuck you, I don't need a spot," and then he got pinned by whatever he was pressing.
He needed it.
Like, actually, you did, bro. But, and I would have spotted him.
Yeah,
I absolutely like.
I've never turned down somebody who needed help.
Yeah.
If he was drunk, I probably would have told him, "You don't need to do this." Like, if I could smell alcohol on him, I'd be like, "Bro, you probably need to go home, not lift." But you know.
Yeah, if it was deadlifts, maybe.
Whiskey deadlifts are all right. The difference, though, is
you're not going to get pinned under it.
Right. You can just let it go. But I don't know. That's my interesting story for the week.
I don't have any interesting stories for the week.
I was walking to my car this morning, and someone drives by and honks their horn and flips me off. Just randomly. I don't know if they knew me. I don't know if I'm at my girlfriend's. I don't know if they know my girlfriend. I don't know if they were just like, I'm gonna fuck with this guy and flip him off. But like, I was just like, I didn't even like, I just looked at them. I'm like, was that me? Was that like I was crossing? It was too early. I'm like, I don't have time for this.
Okay, I do have a funny story that I forgot about. Me and the show is sponsored by Scooter's Coffee now. They help us out with their sobriety, so we can still sip it and rip it without, getting hammered while we're on the show, while he's in prep and I'm doing 75 hard. But I go through the line the other day at like 7:45, and it's like in a school area, pretty busy right there. Dude in this Corvette was trying to get out of the parking lot, and he has plenty of space. Like there's 2 lanes, very easy for him to just drive past. And he starts getting mad that we're in the way. So like, no problem, you're mad, I understand. So I roll my window down and just like motion him to come past. And as he's driving by, he flips me off. So that pissed me off. So I flipped him off. And then he stops at the stop sign at the end of the lane that takes you out of the parking lot. Gets out of his car and comes up to mine and wants to start dog cussing me and tell me he's gonna whoop my ass. And like it's belligerent and like an idiot. And finally, I just swung my door open and got out, and then he promptly got back in his car. But he thought he was gonna whoop my ass in the Scooter's parking lot, only because I wanted to like
let him
know that he has space to go around me. But some short, like he looked like a used car salesman type. Like honest to God, probably. Spends a lot of time in the summer on chartered like fishing boats and like wears PFGs to church on Sunday, like that top, that's a Southern thing. You may not be familiar, but we have these guys that wear pro fishing gear, like their dress shirts to
Oh,
like
yeah.
formal events.
I'm in Southwest Florida, so this is where like all the rich, like people, snowbirds are. So like, people, the fishing charter people are, you see them, and yeah,
it's different, but yeah, that's my only funny story for the week. But
yeah,
nearly getting in a fight trying to pick up my coffee. Like, dude apparently really needed his.
Yeah, apparently.
very, very much needed his. But it pays. The dude might have whooped my ass. I don't know, but it does pay to be big sometimes. You get out of the car and they're like, I picked this battle poorly.
I hope to live that one day. Until then, I'm small and no.
No, it's not that I'm a good fighter or anything. I'm not claiming to be at all. It's just I'm not going to have somebody talk to me that way. Yeah. And like I said, it does pay sometimes.
Yeah. To be moderately intimidating.
He may have beat my brains out. I don't know. But he didn't want to find out, so it was cool.
I still remember when we were in was it PCB a couple years ago before the baby was born?
Yeah.
And we were at that restaurant and these guys were, I don't remember what it was, but I remember you about to get out of the car. Or maybe you did. I know you at least opened the door and flipped somebody off, and they just like were stunned.
It's like, I act belligerently, and then they're gonna act belligerently back. That's crazy. That's wild. I mean, no free passes around here. You might beat my brains out, but I'm gonna make you work for it. It's fine. I don't know what was into that guy. God bless him. Maybe he went on to have a good day. I hope his day improved.
Or he was salty the rest of the day.
That's his fault. Like, I got over it real fast. It was pretty funny though, but that's it.
That's the show before the show.
I think that's the show before the show. Yeah, I'm really worried about the audio thing. So
right, well, we can go ahead and get into it.
So twice as long as last time. So
yeah,
the old we've done good so far. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
What's up, guys? It's Sip It and Rip It Show. You can follow
Sip It and Rip It podcast.
Sip It and Rip It podcast. Doesn't matter.
This is the second week in a row.
Podcast, whatever you want to call it.
It's a podcast. It's been a podcast since its inception.
You can follow us at Coleman _Barbell, at Nathan Skedios, at Sip It and Rip It. What's your handle, Zach?
Just Zach Dion. I got my name.
Okay, cool. Yep. Zach Dion on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Listen to us on Spotify podcasts. Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. Yep. Leave us comments. Tell us you hate us. Tell us you love us. Any traffic for us is good at this point. So thanks.
Just don't dox us and throw eggs at our house.
We mentioned it in the show before the show, but I want to thank Richard and Catherine Neese and Scooter's Coffee for sponsoring our sobriety through the next 10 weeks.
What have you got over there?
I have an infusion. I opted out of coffee because of the time of the day.
Yeah.
Still got a little bit of energy in it, but it's good. It's coconut infusion, sugar-free. For my health.
For my health. I have a white mocha, a hot white mocha, because and
a thing of donuts.
And a thing of donuts, yeah. Man, these donuts are legit, though. I don't know if they have a Scooter's Coffee in Florida, but...
I'll look it up.
You should give them a shot. The donuts, man, they're like $1. They're these tiny little donuts. They're amazing.
That sounds good.
Cinnamon rolls are pretty gangster.
The cinnamon rolls are really good, too. But
especially for... I can't call it fast food, but...
Do what?
Look it up right after.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I mean, it's good. We like it a whole lot, especially since they're helping us out. And Richard has been a friend of mine and a mentor to me for a long time. So,
very cool of them.
Very cool guy. Very cool of him to help us out like that. So,
gym this week.
Yeah. What did you do in the gym this week, Zach? You're our guest, so you tell us first.
All right. So I just started up with a new coach.
Who you got?
Sanjeev. He coaches Rondell Hunt and he works with Strength Studio. It's him and Rondell over there. So exciting new stuff. So this week was just block 1, week 1. So
it's kind of just like getting your bearings, kind of.
Basically, yeah. Just new stuff, just typical. Nothing heavy, really. I have top sets on. I had top set on everything. But nothing that crazy, just trying to lay down the blocks good at the start. I'm 13 weeks out today, so, just at that point in prep, are you kind of going heavy, not really going heavy, just making sure you feel good and start getting ready to.
Just curious, what does your rep range look like on your first week?
So top sets, I had a couple ascending triples on deadlift, and then back down fives or sixes. So
Okay.
bench, lots of bench. I have a cheater form, people say. So, I had a top set of five and then just lots of fives after that, and then
Mm.
squats, sets of four, or a top set of four, and then second set of four, and then back down. So lots of pause deadlifts because I don't have the best build for squats. So that's where I, need to be to progress it.
Preach.
Yeah.
Talking to a couple guys that don't squat very much.
Yeah, we are.
I don't do anything very much, if I'm being honest. But
Squats have been my problem child since I started powerlifting.
yeah,
so.
and I'm knock on wood. I'm injury free, and they're trainable for the first time in a long time, which is really, really good. But
Yeah.
It's funny, at the
nothing to brag
start,
about.
squats were great for me. I like off the bat, I was like adding huge weight to it. I was convinced I was Russell Orhe. I was, blowing it up. And then it's like the second I realized my leverage is favorite, like the second deadlift started to blow up because I have, I lock it at my knee. I like looked at my squat. I'm like, I'm not so built for this. And it's like that got in my head and I just stopped. I just stopped progressing them. I just,
Your brain will do that if you believe something hard enough. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I actually suck at squats, and it's like, oh yeah, you know what? I do suck at squats.
We really should stop talking to ourselves that way.
Yeah.
To be completely honest with you.
What is it? Affirmations.
Yeah, I kind of believe in them, to be honest with you. Like,
I mean, there's
definitely some sports psychology at play with affirmations.
I mean, like there's so many like just cocky guys at the way top that are just they're not cocky, but like they're setting these crazy goals for themselves and they're at like their top end strength, and it's like that's why they think they're gonna add 50 pounds to their squat in 4 weeks, and they're not gonna add 50, but shit, they get 15. That's another 15 pounds because they just like I got this easy. It's like I'm not scared to do a little bit more on my back downs. I'm not scared to like see how long I can pause these reps. It's that like, high-headedness that just keeps them going until they get hurt. But, that's not good. No one wants that to happen.
You have to earn that back if you've been hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the truth. I mean, there was a time where I'm like, let's squat 3 days a week. Let's put weight on every time we squat. And that's, obviously that's not smart programming now, but there was a time I responded really well to high volume, could do it. It was sustainable for a long time. And then honestly, once you get hurt, there's that doubt creeps up pretty big, it sucks, but, and then quickly you get to rebuild.
Yeah.
When you rebuild a total, you're not just rebuilding a total, but you're rebuilding your brain. And that takes, it takes some work, to be honest with you.
You start taking the lighter weights a little bit more seriously too.
Yeah. I mean, I've made this point. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, I had my last Ghost prep, or the Ghost Clash. Wow. Ghost Clash prep. I was deadlifting heavy 2 times a week. I had a super heavy pause single that ended up turning into a couple PRs, like all-time PRs. And then I had a heavy ass 3x3 the other day. And then that worked. That did great. I added like 40 pounds to my deadlift doing that. And then I've also had times where like 1 day a week, super light deadlifting worked. And then it's like, okay, well, that heavy was fun, so I'm going to try that again. And I do 1 day and it kicks my ass. And I'm like, I've never had any real injuries outside of breaking my rib in a motorcycle accident, but that was just stupid. I haven't had any real injuries, but the small lingering things that just like tweak every now and then, it's like frustrating. I take, 265 a lot more seriously at warming up on deadlift than I ever did, because it's like, well, I pulled my back on this a few weeks ago. I'm not going to do that again. I can't take this. This is a lot of weight, not for me, but it can do something to you.
Right. I mean, that's a point I've made several times. Every time I've gotten bitten and hurt bad has been a weight I've tripled or better before.
Because you didn't respect it.
I didn't
as
respect
much.
it. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, this is just an opener. This is just a second. For me, it's second attempt. So
second
this
attempt.
is just, I've done this for 3. I'm going to smoke it. And then, your mind's other places. It's already on that 3rd attempt. And then like, you know, it is what it is. But I mean, that's, for all the things I'm good at in coaching, that psychological aspect gets me down personally worse than anything does, for sure.
Do as I
mean,
say,
it just
not as I do.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of things I'm good at in coaching is because I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
And that's practical experience is real. You can't belittle that, So
So what did you do?
So I listen to other people.
Right.
Well, I can tell you at 21 years old and you're already listening to other people, you're already ahead of the game, because that is a hard group to coach. I have a huge roster now. And as somebody that's got dozens and dozens of lifters, getting that age group to listen is very, very hard sometimes.
Yeah. It's funny, I'm friends with those people in the gym, and I'm like looking at some of the stuff that they're doing, I'm like, just like shaking my head. I'm like, why? Or like, they ask you something, right? And you give a very thought out answer with like, I don't want to say evidence, but like, like you do this because of that. Don't do that. And then you see them the next week and they're doing exactly what they were just doing the week before, asking the same question. It's like, how do you care? How much do you care? Like,
we call those assholes.
Yeah.
And,
assholes. I like that.
Yeah. And they're a real thorn in my side in the coaching profession. It is what it is. But yeah, it's just part of coaching. What did you do in the gym this week?
Well, I asked you first.
You asked me first.
I did ask you first.
75 hard continues. So mine is still very 7 days a week, man. It's a very condensed, do what I need to do and not much else planned in the gym. So upper body, I might have 5 or 6 exercises, but most days I have 4 exercises. And everything needs to be super recoverable. Yep. Because I'm back in the gym the next day. So nothing too cool. I mean, everything's moving like it should. Front squats are coming along. That's something that's really not powerlifting goal so much as it is just a personal goal. Strength and squats stay maintained. They are maintaining or even climbing some. Deadlifts, because of that slight deadlift injury, I'm just not pushing. So I don't know. And then bench press is, I'm still on the camber bar. So it's all really, really humbling, not very heavy weight that feels very heavy because, I think my best double on bench press on the camber bar has been 315 for 2. And that's something that's set at 12 on a regular bar. Real. So that's been very, very humbling. I did get a hold of some close grip today that was pretty fruitful. Yeah. But I mean, there's not a lot of big weights moved because I don't have, first of all, I don't want to get injured again. Second of all, I just have no recovery time. Yeah. 75 hard is really good for discipline and stuff, but it is not a fitness or powerlifting program. Right. It is not the best way to get better at anything. Yeah. Maybe mentally, but not necessarily physically, because I feel pretty ran down all the time. Yeah. To the point that I actually, and if this is an uncomfortable subject for you, let us know. But to the point that I actually determined that I was going to use a PED dose through this whole process, because I'm not getting rest through or recovery through rest. So, right.
You have to get it from somewhere.
I got to get it from somewhere. Yeah. Absolutely.
Otherwise, like, you will actually just like collapse.
Yeah.
Like
I'll hurt myself. Yeah.
And that's a fine topic for me. Everyone's doing everything for themselves. Who cares how they do it?
Right. Like, I'm old too. I have the TRT dose regardless. Right. So like, it's one more pen a week.
It's whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, nothing exciting. Just a lot of fucking grinding. So
I did see you posted something about taking a little bit of philosophy that we talked about on the podcast.
Yeah, so
which is interesting.
I have started, especially for squats in particular, I've determined I'm going to start taking some moderately heavy singles pretty much every time I squat, just to build confidence and just to start accumulating wins. Yeah. I mean, every time I've hit a squat PR, like the heaviest weights I've squatted in my life have been like an RPE 7 or 8. So I know I have the strength capacity for a lot more squat than what I do, but mentally I do not have the mental capacity to get under a squat PR right now. So like accumulating wins 80% and up is really good. So, and I'm kind of applying that same philosophy on close grip now too. Yeah. I took a weight for a single today that I've tripled 1,000 times, but like just getting back under a straight bar doing something different, just doing something that moves me in the direction of, hey, I can actually do this again.
Right.
You know, pretty big. And then that's going to come with deadlifts too, although I'll probably be double overhanded for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Because of that bicep strain. So, but yeah, like I said, nothing real cool. But I mean, that philosophy is going to work. I think it's going to be good for me. I'm still hitting.
I love that.
I'm still hitting, you know, 40, 50 reps a session.
Yeah.
Because, you know, back downs, I'm not backing down like a little bit. I'm backing out on a whole plate and 10 or 15 reps at a time. You know what I mean? So, and the volume, because in the past with the injuries I've had, the volume caused me the most amount of pain. It's actually accumulating wins to me just to be able to hit 2 or 3 plates for double digit reps.
Right.
I mean, that's easy weight for me, but like just the accumulation of volume is doing good for my psyche too. So, I mean, it's fine. Just one day hope to be able to squat more than my bench press.
It's hard mental too to, you know, go into a PR and you're like, okay, I've had 3.5 good weeks in a row of training. Like you that thought's in the back of your head and like, do I deserve this? Can I hit this? Like, is this, you know, like you know, just those wins of like getting comfortable doing it. I mean, shit, I couldn't go 2 weeks without hurting myself for the longest time. Like the dumbest thing, like cramp in the lower back that I can't like bend down to deadlift now or something stupid. I was counting how many days in a row I could successfully work out without tweaking something. And that was like, I got to 10 and I'm like, okay, I feel like I can actually do something now because I'm not a broken old man. Like I shouldn't be dealing with this. So like,
I'm 20 years old, a broken old man.
I mean, shit.
No, but I mean, it's a sport though. I mean, I don't know
is.
what your training age is or how long you've been doing this or if you train in sports before you become a power lifter. But, you know, myself, even my training age isn't that old. I've been lifting since my early, you got started a lot faster. I was 2 years older than you when I started. So, I mean, training age matters. So, I mean, it is what it is. And then, you know, just by the nature of what we do, the training ages your body fast. It really does. And, you know, we are fortunate that we're in a sport that does have a long shelf life. I mean, you have people still setting records in their 40s and open powerlifting.
Rusty Hawkins.
Yeah, exactly.
Female dots ever at 43 years
Highest
old.
dots ever.
Yeah.
Not just female.
Yeah, that's huge. So
7-11.
So what did you do, Nathan?
43.
Yeah. My gym week was pretty cool. At least my deadlift was. It was the start of my week was Monday deadlifts. So I hit 655 for 3. I wanted to go for 4, but I couldn't even break it off the ground. I was a little disappointed in that, but it was pretty good. 4 would have set me up for like 740. Like it would have been like, okay, 740.
We're on target. Yeah.
Well, it would have been like for sure, like 100% 740 is happening. This projects me closer to 720, which is fine because we still got, you know, 8 weeks before nationals. So not super worried about it. But the first 2 moved so well. I was like surprised, especially the first one. I was like, that was quick. The third one, I got a little bit out of position and I could feel it more and it was significantly slower. That's what caused me to kind of like stop and sit and be like, do I need to try and take another one? And I was like, well, yeah, I need the 4th one. And then when I tried to pull it and it didn't go, I was like, nah, well, we weren't technically planned for 4, but it was more like a 4 would put me ahead of the game kind of thing. And, it was good though. I took iridescence that day. So I was absolutely planning on being super dead for my decently heavy bench press the next day, which was 415. I got it for a single. I probably could have gotten more, but my CNS was so fried that I just was like, no.
Sometimes just get what you got to.
I got my single and a couple of back downs at 375, I think. I think it was 375 for 3. And hit those, did some pump work. Wednesday was an off day. Thursday, I was supposed to go to the gym and I felt awful. I honestly think my body still hadn't recovered from those deadlifts. And there was a bunch of weird stuff going on with like my ankle and my abdomen and chest. There was like gas buildup or something. I was in a ton of pain. I barely had any sleep. And it was really weird because I don't typically get gas pains like that. So it was like, am I dying? like this is weird. But I mean, I'm fine now. I squatted yesterday. I hit 465 for a single. Still felt awful, but it moved well, so I wasn't mad about it. And then drops at 415 for a couple sets of 3. Nothing wild, nothing crazy. This was our down week on squats, so I still technically have another day to do. I don't know if I'm going to get to it. It would be after the podcast that I would be going in the gym, so I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But
Sip it and rip it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sipping on some coffee, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. I think I need the rest more than I need the extra stimulus.
I'm a bad influence.
No, typically we are the bad influence. But
yeah, I'll be honest. It's just because he's so, otherwise I'm pretty adamant about that fourth day. But 8 weeks out,
we kind of just need to focus on staying healthy. Not
the biggest meet he's ever done. We need to, health.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A healthy Nathan's going to be better than
you're doing nationals. That's right.
Yeah.
So
what's really funny about that? This is kind of like a random side tangent, but when I qualified, I think people have heard this. I don't know if you have. When I qualified for nationals, I wasn't trying to. Mm-hmm. That was the meet I prepped with Joe, and I was just kind of like trying to learn everything I could from him. And it just so happened that he didn't even want me to water cut because I was going to be a 242. And I was like, well, I want to just to learn it. Like, I want to learn your protocol and kind of like see how my body reacts to it. And I cut from like 245 to 230 something. I think it was 232. And then I hit like a 1660 total, and it got me like a 451 dots, which was just enough to qualify for nationals. And I didn't know that was even a thing until I got an email on January whatever, and they were like, "You're qualified for nationals." I was like, "Oh, I am." Okay. And I didn't even know if I was going to do it, but I was like, you know what? Tammy said to do it. Yeah. I think Ron may have said to do it at the time. So I was like, yeah, let's just do it.
It's fun. When I qualified for nationals a couple years ago for WRPF, it was a lot lower of a required dots for it. I think I needed like 400 or something.
Well, I think it's
like that.
I think it's lower for tested athletes too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, that's probably why. But I like took a like 10-pound jump on my third deadlift after smoking my second, just because I'm like, I'm gonna walk out of here with a win. I don't care. I'm qualifying. I'm not being greedy. I'm taking and I smoked my third, and I'm like, shit, I had more.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of what happened to you. I mean, you didn't know you were going to qualify. I mean, that's what happened on your third deadlift is like, right.
Well, it was my third bench that was really the fastest that moved them all. My third deadlift, I actually...
Did you call it down? Is that what
I think I called it down by 2.5 kilos. I think he had me 302.5, and I just took 300 because I was like, I don't even know. That's a whole story in itself of how I felt going into it. But yeah, I called down more than I called up. I called down on the squat and the deadlift, and I called up on the bench press.
I've started to do that. The first thing that comes into my mind is probably like realistic. And I'm like, I got this. The only thing, my last meet on my second squat, this is also with Joe, but Joe's not there, because, right. I had 195 for my second squat, 430 pounds, and I smoked it. And I went into the day, I wanted 210, I wanted 463, and that was a 23-pound PR. Like realistically, like that's a kind of a big grab or a big ask. And I smoked that 430, and I'm like, I'm 210. Like I walking to the table, I'm like, 207.5 though. Let's be smart. No, 210. I said 210, and I put my hand over my mouth and walked away. I'm like, no, I'm not changing. I smoked 210. I probably had 215, maybe more. But like that was like the only time I didn't talk myself down going to the table, because I normally had always hit before set my openers way too high, so I was just setting myself up for a second attempt at best. But then the rest of the day though, bench, I opted low on my third, and I still missed it. I just can't bench. I can't hit a third in comp. I'm going into my 7th meet, and I'm hoping I do it. And then deadlift was after my second of 560, whatever it is, I knew I didn't have 6, and I wasn't going to load 6 just for the sake of loading 6. So I took the meet PR and I wanted 585, as a lowest, just because it's 585 and you have that extra plate on there and it looks pretty. So we had the silver chrome plates. So I'm like, yeah, I want it to look good. It kind of looks like 600. I could lie.
To an uninitiated, they would buy. You
Yeah.
could tell them. They'd be like, "Yeah, that looks like 600 pounds."
Yeah,
Sure.
but then also it's like they think 400 pounds is the craziest thing. It's like, oh, what am I doing this for?
That's true too.
My body
Yeah,
hurts.
it's funny what impresses people that don't power lift.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
I actually kind of went on a tirade about that the other day, several times on the show, about like, I don't want to be told that I'm doing great when I miss things that are within my expectations, if that makes sense. Like I know that's strong. That's gym bro strong. That's cool. But like, I have an expectation for myself. I didn't meet it. I don't really want smoke blown up my ass, and I don't want to be told how great I am after a rough day. Like it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So
you want to hit some PR songs real quick?
Yeah, PR songs. I'm sorry, did I cut you off? I cut you off, I think.
I was just gonna say, when I had my call with my new coach, I was going over my lifts and I said my bench and I said it's bad, and he goes, oh no, it's like, that's good, and I'm like, nah, it's bad, it should be higher. And he's like, well, you're this much weight and your deadlift and squat are this, you should be at 365 for bench, which is 100 pounds more than I just benched on my meet. I'm like, thank you. That's what I need. I need that honesty. I didn't get first place at my meet because I squatted like a few pounds less than the guy and I out deadlifted him by like 50 pounds. He out benched me by like 70 pounds. That's bad. You can say like, oh, I'm not going to be that top dog at bench because I'm not built for it. But like 70 pounds, no, that's like that. You gotta, I'm not just low on it. I'm, really low. So that honesty was just like, that's what I need. I need to prep to that. I need to focus on bench and, bring that up.
To your credit, I mean, even as a coach, bench is the hardest to call.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's very hard to put a 3-for-3 bench day on. And the man I'm in the room with now is the only one I trust for a 3-for-3 bench day. And it's just, I mean, the majority of clients, like, and it may be my coaching, but it's really hard to call a good bench day. I mean, like very, very hard.
Unless you're actively being like low.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Like if you're trying to, go 3-for-3, like I'm going to take
going 3-for-3 for the sake of it though.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, we don't necessarily, we don't want to leave anything on the table. I want you to go out there like good effort and stuff, but sometimes you need it competitively.
Yeah.
Like in Austin's situation recently, he needed the bench because we knew he wasn't going to out squat or deadlift his competitor.
Yep.
And he didn't get out squatted or deadlifted by much. We knew that he could close the gap on bench press and it didn't go.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like competitively, sometimes you just got to have a big ball sack and get under something heavy, get under something heavy.
Yep.
It just is what it is. But like at the same time, if I had, that's my Achilles coaching wise, it's hard to call a good bench day sometimes. But it is what it is. I mean, take a shot. It's just part of it. But do you have PR songs for us? What gets you hopped?
Kill Yourself Part 3, Suicide Boys. That is,
oh yeah.
and I've tried to, every time I love that song. My older brother, much older, he kind of like put me on that a long time ago. That has been my PR song since I was deadlifting like 400. Like that's been with me forever. And I've tried to, every time I hear it, I skip it unless I'm PRing, because I'm trying to like use that as a mental cue. Like you hear that, it's go time, and you lock in. And like lock in, you like you hear that you're ready. So that's my normal PR song for squats. Sometimes I'll listen to House of the Rising Sun.
Cool.
By the Animals. I think it's by the Animals.
Yeah.
That's because the first powerlifter I started watching, Ray Williams. And I follow him on Instagram instantly. Yeah, he follows me for some reason. I don't think he sees my stuff, but him and Lu Xiaojun, the greatest weightlifter ever, follows me on Instagram. I
that's a brag. Cool. I can't lie to you. That's pretty cool. I love Lu Xiaojun. I love Ray too.
Yeah, and I don't know why either of them follow me, but Ray posted a squat video forever ago. The video started with that song as he's like getting ready to go under the bar, because he doesn't cut his videos. They're like 15 minutes long, and I don't even know if he's going to squat in them or if he's just walking around. And that bass at the start, the guitar at the start of that song, like blasting in his gym, to him like about to freaking blow up 900 pounds like nothing. Like every time I hear that start of the song, it's like goosebumps, and I'm just like, there's no part of the song that like makes sense to lift to. It's not like a heavy metal or whatever, like that beat drop, but it's just like that underlying melody the entire time that just like gets my skin twitching, and I love it. It's
hell yeah,
because it just makes me think of the greatest squatter ever,
right?
Or arguably, I love Ray.
Arguably, I mean, up until Jesus.
I was gonna say Jesus is.
I'll put Jesus above. He hasn't beaten Ray's 1080 though. Like I don't like.
That's
Jesus.
fair.
He's whatever, but he's legit. I love Jesus. I love Dan. Dan's my favorite. He's up
Dan's
there.
cool.
I have like 15 favorite powerlifters, but I love Dan. But like 1080 walked out after missing a second on depth was like the balls on that guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. It is cool.
Yeah, but all of them though. Anyone who's squatting a lot of weight, like unless you're a dick, like you're cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
those are
two
two
songs.
good choices, man. I like that you put a classic rock song on there, because we're metalheads and we tend to neglect where we started sometimes. So it's cool. Yeah. It's cool that you did that. For sure.
Oh, so you want me to put Disturbed on there? Because that's where I started with.
you go ahead and give your PR song.
I'm actually, it's kind of more, it's not, I mean, it's kind of funny. It's Chill Out Dickwad by Austrian Death Machine. That was my go-to this week, is mostly because there's a certain person that needs to chill out, and
okay. Okay.
It wouldn't be anybody you would know. It's someone who is locally a little big-headed. He may think he's he may think he is the biggest dude in the area code.
Yeah,
I know exactly who you're talking about, because there's that dude everywhere. It's probably the same person. But
except for but he can't bench or deadlift or squat with a. He yeah.
Definitely. I don't know. I think I know who he's talking about. Who knows? A lot of potential there. Maybe. Who knows? That's all. I don't know.
It would take a mindset swap for the potential to be tapped into.
Be fired up. Yeah. That's fair.
Hey, I've PR'd to some depressing songs, just because I'm like, I was in a weird deadlift phase at one time that I wasn't listening to any like voice, singing. It was like the instrumental, and there's that song Experience by like Ludwig whatever, and it's like that piano song that they play over like cats dying or whatever on on a commercial. It's like the saddest thing ever, and I like was getting in the zone, like tearing up to it, like I was lifting in an Instagram reel, like trying to like and that's a terrible mind switch, because you fail it, you're already crying, you're right there, and you hit it, you're like, I just took that way too seriously, that was a back down. But like
but if you miss it though, you just drop that weight on the cats, and you're the reason why they're dead now.
No.
Did you have one, Zach?
You go ahead and do a second one. He did two. I figured
I'm not gonna do two today.
You're just doing the one.
Doing the one.
Cool. So I do have two. The new Spirit Box single, Soft Spine, was pretty badass. Girlfriended metal. It's she's a great singer, Courtney LaPlante. Badass song. But another one, since he talked about the Ray Williams video, I'm gonna bring up one of my favorite squatters of all time, and my former coach, and Brandon Allen.
Okay.
Loved a band called King 810, and I remember him squatting. He always listened to this song in the gym. He didn't squat the 1019 to this song, but he always listened to King 810's Kill 'Em All. It's a pretty fucking cool song, but that's kind of the same way. Brandon was a bad man.
Yeah.
And seeing him squat always fired me up. He was a good coach because he had a way of motivating you like nobody else. Mainly, he was just like, "Shut up, pussy, just do, just do it." But he's very much was a good man, is a good man, and somebody you didn't want to disappoint. But he always listened to that song, and I would watch his Instagram reels too, and be like, "Rob,
hype,
baddest motherfucker on the planet right now." Yeah, gotta love this guy. So that's it. That's it for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we all agreed on the topic of the day, I believe.
The PLU
WRPF. So
awesome.
I'll go ahead and say, I know you have a lot of opinions, Zach. So I will let you go ahead and get started and kind of like convey your feelings about it.
It's my very simple take is it's whatever until they actually do anything different. You know, it's I like the idea, you know, I understand it. Like as shitty as like it is to just make a new fed, because like fuck it, a billion people have done that. I bet they're finding it difficult to come up with a new acronym, you know, like because there's so many. But you know, like, okay, owner was taking money, like that, you know, he wasn't progressing the sport. You break off, you know, this is 1776 again, where we're succeeding from whatever. And you have these new plans. If they do it in a year, great. If not, I don't. It's WRPF.
Then nothing really changed.
Like, you know, I kind of liked saying that WRPF. Like, you know, it didn't. You know, it was different, and the logo was cool. So that's where my simple. You know, I'm rating feds on their logo at this point because I don't know. Every fed sucks. Like there's like even the standard IPF, like they have their shit with the section 14 bullshit, like you know, whatever. Like I hope they do what they say they're gonna do, and I believe in them because I know the people who are running it. I think, you know, Anna and Micah and you know, the people who I really look up to in the sport are supporting it. Like Travis Rogers, I love that dude. You know, he's supporting it, so I'm hopeful. But like, yeah, they were supporting USPA and that stuff, and you don't know till you know, and then you're like, you know, you hate it because you're supposed to. It's, you know, just as long as I know, I have a federation that has a deadlift bar to compete in because I, you know, freaking. That's all I'm living for. I paid $800 for a kabuki. Like if I don't get to use it for the next 15 years, I'm throwing hands with someone.
We may or may not have done that recently.
Just recently, yeah. The price went down on them significantly. So
yeah, that's probably a good thing. I don't know. I'll say this. This is my only take on it, and not to say that I don't have more, I couldn't have more take, especially as you guys talk, but I guess my problem with it, you just had this big separation from the USPA, and most of us moved to the WRPF. A venture like starting your own federation and making plans for this is something that's been planned for a while. This isn't an idea they came up with last week.
Yeah.
When this move was happening, I would imagine they already had plans to start working toward the PLU. At the very least, it was in conversation. I think when you had this mass exodus of USPA lifters coming to WRPF, somebody should have thrown up their hands and said, "This is cool. We're happy to have you, but this is coming." But, you know, I mean, you can add to it, you know, whatever you want to do. Tell me I'm wrong. But most I run businesses, and I know most of these things don't come
overnight
out of nowhere, just overnight. You know what I mean?
I heard from someone who's directing their state. I don't want to throw out a name, but he's directing his states, whatever, that this has been in the works for 8 months, something like that. And the USPA thing would have happened just a little before that. So this might have
March of last year.
Off the bat, like they might have realized, like for the first meet, like that we lost a lot of money, or not lost, but could have had a lot more money, and then instantly. But you know, I notification, like some type of notice, like they're planning on doing something, or I guess if you just switch every meet in the country to PLU that was going to be WRPF, you don't really have to get a following because everyone's pretty much just, you know, you don't have to think, you don't have to sign up. You already signed up for it. It's, you know, whatever. But if this you know, it's like, why wouldn't they have just made the Fed instantly, you know, not signed to anybody who could have baggage or whatever.
You know, to be fair, we're talking about probably 4 months difference in the time of its conception and
Yeah.
the USPA separation, and I understand that. Still, though, if it's been in a plan 8 months, why didn't we know 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Or
No,
you know, whatever.
I agree with you there.
And it's not. I think some people are just feeling a little disenfranchised in the sense that the news wasn't a little bit more forthright. you know what I mean?
My only thing about that is, I think they didn't want to scare anybody by saying, "Hey, we're starting a new Fed. Fuck the WRPF." And you also don't know what's going on behind the scenes with the WRPF. Can they even mention that they're doing it?
Yeah.
Like what I remember reading was that they were talking about, they had many conversations with the head guy of WRPF about things that were going on.
Sure.
They tried to not
do this.
Yeah. I don't know how long those conversations were. I don't know how many they were. I don't know if they had already started with the PLU, getting it started up and we're still having conversations, or if they, at one point they were like, we're just going to do our own thing and we're just going to keep going until it's ready. And then we're going to swap everything over. Yeah. But yeah, just to recap, cause we talked about it briefly. So there's the USPA thing that happened. This is kind of just like a timeline. The USPA thing happened. I think the biggest thing was that everyone was clamoring to find something to attach to, because we just didn't want to not have a powerlifting federation, in like an untested powerlifting federation. Because without the USPA, there really wasn't anything in certain areas, right? There was...
You go SPF or RPS.
Yeah.
If you want to go untested. But outside of that, you pretty much had to go POA or USAPL.
Yeah. So there's, as far as the untested side of things, there just wasn't a lot of options. So WRPF was already an organization in Russia. Sure. So they already existed. So it was really easy for them to just be like, hey, can we start sanctioning events here under your banner? And they're just like, yeah, free money. You know, right? Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Sanction them in America.
WRPF had already had some big meets in America. The 2021 Hybrid Showdown was WRPF.
Okay.
Then they went back to the USPA in 2022, which is all pretty sure, yes, that was pre the, USPA stuff, because that was 2023. But I think one of the reasons they might have waited is because WRPF has their thing going in Russia. They don't even just do powerlifting. They do like curls and like random stuff. And Russell Kern, the owner of WRPF, this is his side thing. That's what I think, at least. Like, he has his own real business or whatever, and this is a side hobby that just brought in a lot more. I might be wrong about this, but I think a meet director and 99% of lifters' biggest fear is they do a meet and it's unsanctioned and doesn't get put into open powerlifting. And out of fear that maybe the WRPF could just do away with us, because they were doing just fine before they started doing meets in America. I think there could have been that fear too, that if we announced, or not we, but PLU announced they're doing their own thing, and before the split officially happened, they could just drop us, and now we have a bunch of people competing in 2 days who might not even have a meet, in open powerlifting. So they wanted to wait till they could officially, just potentially because of, whatever reason, WRPF might not take it so well that America's succeeding from them. But, I one thing I will say though that I'm happy that they're doing, is they're honoring any active WRPF memberships for the next, I'm assuming year through this split.
They're until January 1st.
Is it January 1st? Okay.
Yeah. And actually they're honoring any powerlifting membership, period.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So if you have that's why it's really funny. Someone recently signed up for nationals in my weight class who just did I think a USPC meet.
Okay.
So I think he's probably got a USPC membership, and then he's just like, I can just do this, because he has like a 530 dots, so he's qualified. So like,
So you're doing PLU nationals. That's cool.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
first, you know,
The first, yeah, technically, I guess.
if you win, you know,
Oh, I'm not
you're the
winning.
let's say you're going to be the greatest PLU lifter until next year.
Whoever wins will be
I mean,
the
we're not going to get our teeth kicked in.
No.
Undisputed.
But, you know,
if I podium, I'll be happy, but that may be a stretch too at this point. We'll have to just see. But
well, you know, you don't. That's the reason we play the game. You never wish an injury upon anybody ever.
and you never know when someone's gonna have a bad day.
You never know when somebody goes 0 for 3 on something, 1 for 3 on something, and you catch them because you were in the meet longer.
Yep.
You know
They
what I
got
mean?
stomach bugs.
Yeah.
Fun,
Just shit
you know,
themselves
it's
to
just,
death.
you know, do your thing.
Not literally.
At my meet, you know, I got second. I was expecting to win, partially because I didn't know. There was a ton of people in my weight class, but I kind of did a little scouting because there was money involved. Jordan Wong is a great meet director. He puts money for meets he probably loses money on, and you know, payouts for first, second, and third for every single weight class, every category at a local meet. Who does that? You know,
That's pretty crazy.
yeah,
That's good.
$300 for the winner. And so, you know, I'm, you know, a broke 21-year-old. I'm like, yeah, shit, am I going to win money? So I checked, you know, I thought I was going to win. I got second. I knew I got second going into my, you know, last deadlift. I'm like, this isn't a pull for the win, whatever. And I got it. But, you know, when they announced the winner, you know, they announced me as second and they announced him 2 seconds later. I like everyone's cheering and I just go boo, you know, like, you know, joke, whatever. And he walks by me and I like, you know, gave him a high five or whatever. I'm like, great, you know, great job, dude. Like, whatever, you know, if you beat me by like 50 pounds, I'm not gonna like freaking throw
Can't be
hands
mad
over
about
this.
it.
I can't be mad if I don't bench 300. Like that's my fault. You know, but like, yeah, I just like, you know, joke and everyone laughed and whatever. Like, it's not that serious. Like, you know,
Yeah.
people get mad about like just, you know, losing off of a few pounds. It's like, yeah, they beat you, you know, just get better.
So
Part of the sport.
speaking about that, I did want to ask you on the topic of WRPF, PLU stuff. So one of the big things that I've heard from a few pro lifters is that they did not like how the big meets were ran. So Ghost Clash, American Pro, they said it was ran poorly. It wasn't a hype meet. Like it was mostly social media stuff. It wasn't really like fun or anything like that. So what was your experience like last year at the Ghost Clash?
So, for those listening that don't know, I've competed at Ghost Clash and I have watched the Ghost Clash. I helped Joe Sullivan handle quite a bunch of people. So I have kind of both experiences between, and I also watched the Pro Day last year. So I've competed in it, I've watched it, and I have helped handle in it. So I've kind of been everywhere. So I have a, you know, good perspective on the Ghost, but videos were definitely made it look a little bit more hype than it was. And the venue is beautiful. It's a brewery, you know, it's a really pretty venue, but like a quarter of it is where the lifters and the you know, audience are. It's a giant open room and it feels kind of empty just because of how big. It's a giant brewery just because of how big it is. And you know, you got people serving food, people drinking. As a lifter, you know, if you're someone who eye wanders when you're on the platform and you're not like a, you know, scared little teenager just walking straight to the bar, like terrified of everything, you know, you see that, you can feel it. You know, I've competed at local meets. I've competed at WRPF Nationals in 2022, which was 1 billion people in Fight or Quit, a very, you know, not very small gym, but for the amount of people, it was as packed as it could have been. And I've competed at the Ghost. And how big that room was, it did not feel as energy full as meets with a lot less people. Even though people were probably yelling more, people were screaming, going crazy. It was just the size of the room. And I understand it. You know, it's a venue. They got to make money, whatever, and, you know, do their thing. But it was, I can't speak on American Pro, but from what I've heard, it sounds like it was really hype. But the Ghost, you know, I watched John total 2,300. I watched Jamal pull his second 1,000-pound deadlift. And outside of a couple moments for everyone's favorite lifter, it was pretty, you know, kind of quiet. You know, there's, you know, moments for sure, but it's like, you know, you don't want to have to feel the moment. You know, the moment elevates itself when you're up there. and it gets even better. You didn't think it could, but it got better. That place quiets out pretty quickly, with everything going on. And I don't think there was even music. There might have been, or there was music. There was music. Someone was on the mic, but I think Fighter Quit WRPF Nationals a couple years ago. They had a live DJ. That place was popping. They had this is one of Micah's meets, and Micah, I love Micah. I think he does things great. And this is his own gym, so he can do whatever the hell he wants. He doesn't have to worry about anything. He gave the crowd $5,000 in fake cash to throw on the lifters for their last deadlift, walking up to the platform. Did I lose you? Oh, okay, you're there.
Hang on, you just went out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back in now.
Okay.
Everything's good now.
You went out for a second too. That might have just been a lapse.
I think that was a Riverside thing, but
okay, we're good.
We're still recording, so we're good.
Michael Marino in general is just
crazy.
top, to be honest.
He kind of is, isn't he?
He's one of the greatest gifts to powerlifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been in the sport forever. He's done everything, and he's still doing it. He's still coming back. Talk about someone, coming back from injuries. Dude had blown out both of his knees. He doesn't even have muscles on his quads or whatever because of injuries. He's a broken lip. He keeps doing it though. He doesn't quit. Literally, that's his thing. He doesn't quit. I love it. He's done raw. He's done wraps. He's done raw with wraps. He's done equipped. He doesn't pick favorites. He puts on USAPL meets. He puts on WRPF meets. He's part of PLU. He's for the sport, and we need more people like that.
Yeah.
But back to the Ghost Clash. It in the warm up room, it was small. It was just big enough. If it was any smaller, I would have told Joe, I'm not going to be in here. I'm taking up too much space. It was just big enough, but it wasn't terrible. I've been in worse warm up rooms, but it was tight. It was very tight for lifters who are trying to put on exceptional meets. And I really haven't competed at a meet with at least top level lifters that have had a very good warm up room. Outside of my last meet, which was in a school gymnasium, it's you got too much room.
Right.
So,
that's where my last meet was. It was in a school gymnasium.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad venue though. It is comfortable.
It is comfortable.
Oddly fun. They're very,
A Golden 8 here locally is at Decatur High School. Big, gymnasium, works out pretty well. The dual platforms help. I feel like that helps the energy in the room because you always have a lifter going. You know what I mean? That helps out quite a bit. But I mean, I don't know. I probably don't think as much about the venue as I should. As a coach or a lifter, to be honest with you.
I really, and there's a lot of people who probably completely disagree with me. I don't pay attention at all.
Well, that warm up room matters.
The warm up room definitely matters. I remember when we were at the Maverick, when you were warming up, I was like, God damn, I'm so I'm a sardine in here. Yeah. It was rough. All of my meets, I think, all of my meets that I've done have had plenty of space. The first one we did was at SPF, and it was in a gym, and they were just like, here's your benches and stuff. You just walked around. People were working out actively while we were doing our meet. It was funny. But that's SPF for you. Yeah, and then we did SPF Nationals, which was actually in a hotel. Yeah. And there was there was just a lot of people in that room. There was 100 people, 100 lifters at a time. So
that wasn't the greatest warm-up room ever either.
It wasn't, but I didn't feel just like sardine.
I'll say this, and mainly because we do have friends that run it. The difference between what makes up for the Mavericks warm-up room is the crowd. Yeah. That's the most fun, most well-ran meet in the state of Alabama.
The energy is the best there.
It's really fun.
It's literally
rowdy from the first squat to the last deadlift.
That's why I told all your new guys, I was like, if you're going to do your first meet and you want energy like we had at our meet at the garage, go up to the Maverick, because that's the only place you're going to find it around here.
Venue size is difficult you kind of got to do it where you got to do it. Yeah. I mean, it's not like we have stadiums or designated places to hold a powerlifting meet. Right. You know what I mean? There's not just even if it's at a gym, like you said, you have 24-hour members that are in there trying to get a workout in while we're warming up or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that we're in a place yet in powerlifting where we can be all that picky about a venue. But a big professional meet like that is like, so coming from music, right? If you play a big venue with not a lot of people in it, even if everything's going really well and even if everybody in the crowd loves you, it's kind of like, fuck.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's not exactly the reason why I wanted to become a rock star. You know what I mean? The energy is the same. I'll say that. I mean, the energy is 100% comparable. I mean, that big mammoth venue. And then even if it's 200, 300 spectators.
Right.
And you still got an empty room. Or like you said, they're preoccupied because they're ordering food and drinks and everything like that. Like, that's not really the place for it. You know what I mean? Like, outside concessions make sense. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff. But like, it is kind of a drag when you got people putting in an order for lunch and, you're trying to pull a deadlift PR.
Third squat.
What I mean? Or whatever it may be. So, I mean, that's something, unfortunately, I think as things stand now, you just got to take it.
I'll be competing there again. So, they're not changing venue. So, at my last meet though, it was my 6th meet, and that was the first meet I've ever walked onto the platform and actually like taken a breath and like soaked in. I wasn't like nervous. I wasn't worried about the time, just going straight to the bar and like, doing my shit. I was like, tried to breathe it in a little bit and like, accept some of the energy coming my way instead of like freaking out and, going tunnel vision. And even being in a gymnasium with like, 30 people or not 30, however many people watching, just empty chairs, whatever. It was good. It was, Jordan, the music, everything. He puts on great meets down here in Florida. He's doing a great ton for the sport. And, he does RPS. He doesn't give a shit about federation. He just wants it to be easy to, compete, sign up for it. He can do his thing, whatever. And, he doesn't care for the change, or at least that's what it seems like until, they do something. He's just like, I put on good meets and I do RPS.
Right.
So, support meet directors. And above all, I think everyone should agree with this, support meet directors above anything else.
Yep. That's,
unless it's something like IPF where it actually stops you from being able to do other things, or, you do it and you get in trouble, like support meet directors and just, good people, look at who's doing the squatting, who's promoting it, who's, sponsoring it. And like, Pioneer isn't going to sponsor a meet that's like, run by a shit person.
Right.
Matt is better than that. So, just support good people above all. And that's what's going to get the sport going.
Yeah, I agree. And we have good ones, really good ones here in Alabama.
Yeah.
Admittedly.
Charlie Lyons is great. He runs great meets. He's a good dude. Never had any issues out of him.
Heidi's great.
Yeah. Heidi's great too. Hopefully they swapped PLU. I don't know if there are any meet directors that were previously WRPF that did not swap to PLU at this point. All I've ever seen is people swapping. If they have, I don't know, but they swapped, and I'm just like, I'm still gonna support them because they've been doing it for years. They run good meets. That's what I'll continue to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have along this topic, I kind of have not necessarily a controversial take or anything, but maybe a controversial idea in the sense that is it fair to say that a lot of top level lifters are competing against open powerlifting and not necessarily even in their own federation anymore?
Very top. Yeah.
Yeah. It stands to reason. Open powerlifting is tracking us all. Doesn't matter if you're 200,000 in the world or, top 2 in the world, right? It stands to reason the person that has the most power to consolidate everything is open powerlifting. And I'm not saying like a single federation necessarily, but like this was a big, popularity in boxing has waned because there's 10 different federations and you have, how many ever fighters that can hold a world heavyweight title. It's like, that's kind of diminished at this point. Right. Like, so I guess
I'm a national champion. I competed against nobody.
I mean, like
it's it's stupid.
I think I just think that open powerlifting in the future potentially could have it stands to reason that we
Yeah.
could unify things a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the IPF and their rules. You're not going to get an intra-federation meet
From the IPF, yeah.
from they're not going to come participate in something like that or anything like that. But open powerlifting actually has the most power and could theoretically have the ability to unify the sport. And I'm not so sure that wouldn't be a bad thing because
Mhm.
like everybody
Mhm.
fucking bickers about it. Like,
Right.
go to an
I mean,
SPF
I
meet.
posted on my yeah,
Yeah.
I posted on my story a couple weeks ago. If IPF opened an untested division for whatever reason, they wouldn't because they're trying to get into the
Mhm.
Olympics, but they would make money off of it.
Mhm.
100. All they have to do is buy, like, they don't have to do anything. They just have to make a new division. Meat directors have to get the equipment, whatever. And not that most meat directors wouldn't have a deadlift bar and a, squat bar, whatever. If they even use specialty bars, if IPF just opened an untested stiff bar federation with a path to worlds, I think most federations would just, cease to exist pretty quickly, or at least outside of the people who, want to have a little looser standards or
Mhm.
use a specialty bar. I think the majority of pro untested lifters would like the option to have a path to worlds, either because they didn't, because they just weren't strong enough without the gear, so they did it earlier than they not needed to, but just, or they didn't even know about IPF. I mean, a lot of lifters, who started gear just to start working out and like get bigger and get stronger before competing, they had no idea that they could have had a chance to compete for a world championship at some point. And it's all, people see that and like they want that, like a real like chance to compete for something. That's why IPF is doing so good, because they have that path. It's a
Mhm.
straightforward path.
Sure.
It makes sense. Anybody can do it. If I showed up in 83 kilos and beat Joe Borenstein, I won't. But like, I could take his spot for worlds in a year and that's it. He can't do anything. They don't care about following on Instagram.
Mhm.
Not that any federation does, but like, that's it. And I was listening to a different podcast. Rondell Hunt and Johnny Kaufman just made one.
Mhm.
And Kaufman, was saying how IPF has the unity. All the lifters in it, they're like united with IPF and it's like their thing and whatever. So they have that competition with each other. Every untested pro is like a nomad. They do their own thing. They compete at meets they want to. There's no path. Nobody cares. American Pro is cool. Gus is cool. I'll compete at it once. Maybe I won't. It's whatever. There will be a next big meet in a couple years anyways. Like, just compete where you can, because open powerlifting counts at all the same.
Mhm.
I lift to standards. This is, the pro is talking. I lift to standards. Like, it doesn't matter. If I do at an RPS meet, and I post a side angle of my squat, nobody's going to give me shit for squatting high.
Mhm.
The video is right there. Same other way around. Like, you could squat high and, people aren't happy with a certain heavier lifters, all-time world record total recently because they don't think it was the standard. Like, the video is right there. No one's ego is small enough that they're not going to post it.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
you can see it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. I mean, I think just the lack of unity across the board in powerlifting is problematic.
Mhm.
But it's also as it
Mhm.
grows. Me and Nathan talk about how important it is that I do think that there's a lot of value in powerlifting as a spectator, more so than people realize. It's probably an unfair take for the three of us to say, "Hell yeah, we like watching powerlifting,"
Mhm.
because
We're in
we're
it.
powerlifters and coaches, right? And like we're in it, but like
Very fair.
it is an under. I have people, parents of clients or spouses of clients, never seen this stuff before and come and watch one. Like, this is actually pretty fun. This is
Yeah.
cool to watch. Like, there's value in it as a
Mhm.
spectator. Part of what diminishes that though is the fact that, well, who do you watch? Where do you compete?
Right.
Like, it's not like a football game where, you know, everybody's in college football FBS and you have your team but we're all competing to the same standards. We're all doing this. You
Mhm.
may not even see each other in the field, but we're all playing the same game.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like, there's a unifying factor
Mhm.
in that, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's
Yeah.
something missing for not just lifters and coaches, but as a spectator.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
And as a spectator, like there's the option, it can be good, but like you could also just wait a day and you see the whole Instagram recap of the one guy you wanted to
Mhm.
watch.
yeah,
And it's like, that's, the more convenient. It's an Instagram sport because you get the lift done in like 10 seconds, however long it takes. And, if you have a lot of people, it is fun. I watched a little bit of nationals last night. someone, a gym owner, Eric LaPointe up in New Hampshire, he was competing. This is USAPL for our nationals. I mean, the Rumble is going on right now, actually, and but and I watch it and I see him and I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's see, what's he gonna do? I hope he, does good. But like everyone else in between, if you know everybody and you're really a fan of the sport, it's good. If not, it's like, okay, cool. Like that was good. That was a good squat. I hope that guy does good better because I like him. His energy, whatever, is fun. But that's as a competitor in the sport that I'm like, I can see that. I can see me liking that guy in my gym.
Sure.
And it's easy to get swept under the rug as a competitor. It's just another lifter, when people are watching because they don't know you. And to your point, I would love the sport to find a way to become more viewer friendly or viewer entertaining, but it's hard to find ways that they can do that.
Sure.
Without sacrificing the lifters
hang on
experience.
Okay.
Is he back?
Can we hear you? We'll go ahead and kind of wrap it up so we don't.
Yeah, I do want to take on one thing though, because it's something I'm doing, and it's a big deal, and I forgot where we were, so I apologize about that. But so I'm been in a habit of hosting pretty large unsanctioned meets, and it's only recently become, I wouldn't say an ethical issue necessarily, but there's been some speculation that maybe I am doing some damage to the WRPF, now PLU, because participation in our state's been a little bit low. But there again, we're having, we're not having huge participation, 15 or 16 this last time, but the payouts have been pretty huge. They've been 600 plus. This past was like 750. I feel like it's been a unifying thing to a degree because you're getting a lot of people that maybe couldn't afford membership dues and the meet dues and everything else on top of it. I'm getting a lot of first time lifters, and then I also get some big dogs out that want to come win some money. I'll be honest. But I've been doing that because personally, I think it's good locally. And, but there's been some speculation that maybe it's not. I didn't know what your thoughts were on that, but also, what I'm trying to do is provide an avenue for lifters to get paid and not just set records. Obviously you can't set records in an unsanctioned event, but we work so hard with so little opportunity to actually put money in our pockets. It's not about hating a federation. I don't have any loyalty to any federation other than the fact I have good meet directors, like you say, that I do support, and I love what they do. They do a great job. But really, I just wanted to provide an opportunity for people to start getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's bottom line. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to hurt the WRPF or the USAPL or these other meets. I just wanted an avenue for people to come actually win some money, and there are cash meets. The Maverick, you can win cash. As I said, they do a really good job. I will support them until the day I die. No questions asked. But very seldom is it a substantial payday like we're paying out, like, $600 plus. So I didn't know what your thoughts were on that, and I'd like to hear them. So.
First of all, good on you for, providing cash prizes for people, to win. It's a hobby sport. No one really makes money off of it unless you're John Hack. But, good on you for that. And I don't think it's anybody's anybody owes any federation anything. I don't think anybody needs to, nobody owes it to a federation to use them. There's a million federations. Why can't APF say the same thing to you? I don't know how APF is doing in Alabama. They can't say the same thing to you. Anybody can say that. And, you're just trying to, it's the reasoning. What's the reasoning? Is it out of spite? No, it's because you want
to just go out again.
Yeah.
Shit.
You just went in and out.
It's the headphones.
Yeah. So I don't think you owe it to anybody to use a federation or whatever. And, is it, hurting the sport? No, I mean, and you're doing it out of good reason. It's what's the reasoning? You just want to give people a place to compete, win a little bit of money without all the, bullshit with the membership and the meat price and whatever. I will say though, RPS does not require any membership. You just sign up for the meet and that's it. So, use that info as you will, but like,
Right.
I'm not telling you to go to RPS, but like, they don't have a membership fee. It's a lot of people forget that or don't know it because they don't compete it. But that's one good thing. So I don't think you're hurting PLU or
Good.
WRPF or anything.
I mean, we've gone as far to now this next meet that we're planning for to make it more equitable for new people. We put a 400. If you've competed previously, you're not allowed to have a 400 dots or greater.
Okay.
So it's
Sick.
basically, new lifters.
Amateur day
Amateur day,
Yeah,
basically.
that's sick. I love that.
So that they have an opportunity to win money. But I mean, we've all been there. I'm still there. We've been lifters with a sub 400 dots before.
My first
And
meet, I was in a flight full of girls out squatting me. Like
Yeah.
I just wanted to make it equitable to everybody. And, a lot of these people have real meets on the books. They're still using, our local meet directors. They're still, participating in the sport outside of it. And then for the ones that aren't, it's their first time. They don't even know if they're going to like it or if they want to do it or nothing like that. A lot of it is just gym bros that think they can bench big and they want to show up and prove it. You know what I mean? And and that's fine. But all these people work hard, you know what I mean? And I just wanted to make it equitable. I mean, truly.
And open powerlifting matters, but like, if you're trying to prove to someone, right? But like if I needed to prove to someone I had a 585 deadlift, open powerlifting has it. If they didn't, I have a video. If I don't have a video, I have probably 15 people I know who could, vouch for me. And who am I proving this to? Because we have open powerlifting, people think it's the most important thing. If we didn't, so what? Like, I don't think anyone's going to your meet to break the all-time world record deadlift in every weight class. In those cases, yeah, it matters. But like for 99% of people, no. Like, unless, and as you said, you're not the only meet in your area that, if you were the only gym putting on meets in the state of Alabama and you weren't with a federation and didn't have any federation, whatever, like, it's like, someone probably should in the States, but like, you're not. People have other options. I don't think they go into your meet expecting it to be an open powerlifting. I don't think I know that's not all of your meets, but people with the lower dots or whatever don't care, and the bigger lifters, it's like, you're winning money, so shut up, here's your money, you signed up for it, you probably knew what you were getting into, whatever, $1,000, you just made more money than the person who just won IPF Worlds. So,
right. I mean, good point. Yeah. I mean, that's, I don't want to, the biggest thing is I genuinely, and the only reason it's an ethical issue is I genuinely don't want to step on the sport. Like I really want to better it.
I think that's bettering it because the sport's about the lifter. I don't think the sport's ever been about, the sport's about the lifter.
I want to reiterate too, that we're putting 100% of the entry fee into the pot.
Oh,
Like, so the only way we're making money is off of concessions and spectator fees.
yeah, that's
so like,
perfect.
I mean, I'm not taking anything from the lifter,
Perfect. I love that. I have no issue with that. And I would honestly, if I was in the area, sign up for a meet just to like get in a good SBD day and, have some fun. Cause that's what the sport's about. It's not that serious. It's like, this isn't the NFL. This isn't
right.
That's right. Since you said that, it did spark on something that somebody told me about the whole WRPF PLU thing. And they were like, well, I think this is the death of untested powerlifting. Right.
No.
And I kind of looked at it and I was like,
That's dramatic.
That's kind of like saying my street hockey league changed its name, so it's dead.
Bro,
like it's a hobby sport.
Yeah.
It's not gonna die because the name changed.
I don't think I said this to you. Someone said that to me, and I'm like, if every federation of untested powerlifting died, don't you think someone with at least a little bit of sense would be like, if I open up an untested federation right now, I have no competition. I am going to make so much money off of everybody in America who takes gear. Are you kidding me? No, there's always going to be a federation because there's always money. If someone is going to sign up for your meet, you can make some money. If you have any type of business, like whatever, and if you don't, someone else is going to figure it out before you and take everything. And then shit, if Untested Powerlifting died completely, I think it would come back better because there would only be one federation, off the bat. There would be one federation. Everyone would go to that federation. Somebody else makes a new federation. Everyone's going to be like, no, we're not doing this again. We're not doing this again. At least most people would probably just, outside of people who just lift at their local meet out of convenience, which is okay. It's fine. You're not making money. You don't owe it to anybody to drive 14 hours to be under IPF or whatever federation, just doing it for yourself.
Cool.
No, it's not going to die as long as people are taking gear. It's,
right.
It's going to be untested.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's fair. 100%.
So I guess we should probably wrap this up before we have any more technical issues.
Yeah.
So we got one last part. I don't know if I told you about the last part of the show. We get together and we find some dad jokes.
Okay.
And we tell some dad jokes. You got it off top?
If I get hurt one more time, I'm going to put in my 2-week notice. WEAK.
Yeah. That's
that's a good one.
That is a good one.
That's very applicable to me.
Oof. All right. So let's see. I always save them. Oh.
So an old Japanese gardener asked me what I knew about bonsai trees. I said, very little.
That's pretty good. Oh, man. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Cargo.
Cargo who?
The owls go who? Cars go beep, beep.
Good one.
Damn it.
That was bad.
That was bad. That's okay.
I'm glad I had one ready because I would have.
You did. I was shocked.
I was one ready, and we never have one ready.
And we don't.
I might have taken.
You know what's green?
Don't scroll a few weeks past through John Hack's post because I promise you won't see that. Exact.
I have seen. I did see it. I did see it, but I was gonna let you have it. I was gonna let you have it.
Doing pretty good on my 1,500 calorie a day diet as long as I don't eat anything for the rest of the day or tomorrow.
Yeah. What's green and not heavy?
I don't know.
Light green.
Damn it.
Good one.
We'll run away with these for a long time if
we will.
I don't have a kid yet, so I had to find source material from someone else.
We were doing dad jokes before we were parents.
This is true. This is true.
You guys had
All
dad
right.
jokes.
Well,
I had Fortnite, so it's whatever.
Oh, I have never played Fortnite. I never will.
I'm not a gamer.
I did.
People are shocked when I tell them
once.
I don't even own a console.
Yeah.
You played it when you were 16 once?
Yeah. That was my very short gaming career.
Yeah, okay. I still game, but I refuse to play Fortnite.
Yeah, fair.
Like I said, don't even own a console.
Not me. I got a PS5.
I can't imagine the amount of time I'd waste if I did. I'm a bad time waster.
I don't have time to waste. I'm like,
that's fair. That's how I feel.
I mean, honestly, there were 3 weeks straight where I didn't even turn the thing on. My baby was turning it on more than I was by accident because she figured it out somehow. But all right, I guess we can wrap it up.
I guess that's the show. Thanks, Zach.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
It was a lot of fun. Technical errors, issues, not errors.
It was more technical issues. Riverside.
We persevered. We got through.
We got through it anyway.
Yeah, we did. We should have him on again sometime. I'd like to know more about his lifting history. And
I would
stuff.
love to.
That's,
it would be fun.
But we didn't get enough personal stuff from Zach. That's something I would like to know more of. So
for sure. We'll hit you up probably after internationals because I think we're a little booked up, and then October we're probably going to be too busy. Yeah, absolutely. October's swamped.
Yeah, I mean, I have my next meet in December, so we can do it after that. So I have some better numbers to talk about. So
there you go.
Meet recap.
There you
That'd
go.
be good.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah,
we've never had a meet recap with a guest.
That'd
be cool though. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Be the first one.
Awesome.
That'd be awesome. Well,
thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was so much fun. It was a good, insightful conversation. Hopefully we've informed some people about our stance on the PLU thing and yours too. And maybe people will be a little less mad about it.
I think the people who are mad about it are going to be mad about it.
Anyway.
And the people who, like us, who are not really mad about it
People
or
want to be
indifferent
things to be
about it.
mad about. Everybody wants something to be mad about. It's whatever.
Yeah,
It's
true.
a different name.
100%.
Who cares? One
Right.
letter short
That's
to type out when you're meeting up.
Yeah, exactly.
Legitimately, it's all the same people under a different name, minus one
person.
big dude that was.
We didn't know anyway.
Yeah, we literally were not involved with him at all. He was just like a money guy. So like,
It is what it is. It's over. It's done. PLU now.
It's PLU. You can either do it or you can go to USPA, USPC.
Nobody
if you want to be
cares.
with the pedophiles, you know?
whatever you want to do.
I mean,
doesn't matter.
I mean, someone told me, naming no names, but they were like, yeah, I'm going to go compete USPC and I know their background and I just don't care. And I was like,
USPC or USPA?
USPC.
PC.
Yeah, because the owner is the person that was fired from the USPA.
That
was what
yeah.
kickstarted it all, and
Yep.
I gotcha.
Yep.
This makes sense.
Yep. And because there was a payout, they were like, that's just where I'm going to lift because there's a payout.
If I was as broke as I am, and that was the only meet within an hour, like whatever, I want to compete, and like, whatever, like. If I really couldn't do it, I have gone far for meets and I would again if I can. But like, it's some people, whatever,
Some people, their not necessarily their moral obligations may not align with it or whatever. It like for me, I couldn't do it. I couldn't lift USPA or USPC after finding all that what we know.
I would never
personally. Being a father
situation. Yeah
it's just one of those things where, and some people, especially, and I don't mean to say this in a derogatory way, but younger people who don't have kids, like they like 10 years ago I might not would have cared them, and like, well, it's just a place to lift. I don't but being a dad, you look at things much differently. So
I mean, if that issue didn't, hit home to me for a certain reason that, is whatever, nobody's business, whatever, I probably wouldn't give a shit. I'd probably be like, I just want to compete, man. But it hits some people care, some people don't, some people have a reason to care. It's just that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's safe to say that we all care, though. So.
Yeah. No.
to be noted. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
100%. But you ready for the sign off?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
PLU. Yeah. Yeah. So you can listen to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Leave us reviews, all places, 5 stars if you can. Any traffic's good traffic, though. Like, comment, share the show.
Share with your friends. Don't be a hoe. Share the show.
Don't be a hoe. Share the show. Sorry, Andy. Stole it again. But yeah, you can find us at Zach Dion, at Coleman_Barbell, at Nathan Skiddios, and at Sip It and Rip It. And this is the Sip It and Rip It podcast.
Thank you.
We will talk to y'all next week. Bye, y'all.
Thank you, guys.